Welcome back to On the Shelf Gaming, the only show on the internet comprised entirely of trained firefighters. Eric, how many fires do you extinguish today?
We're supposed to be...
You haven't hitting your quota, right?
Yeah, we're supposed to be, like, putting them out.
Yeah?
Right, we're not supposed to be catching stuff on fire?
Ideally, no. Unless it's like a controlled thing to, like, you know, help architecture, like, agriculture.
Right, yeah, that's probably...
That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah. I might have set a couple dozen fires today.
Were they...
All I remembered you saying was fire. And I just wanted to make you happy, you know, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. I forgot one of the dumb fun things you can do in the fucking firefighter one is you can do your spin attack while you're fucking shooting water. So it's kind of like how Ash's Squirtle does Whirlpool.
You mean Hydro Pump?
Oh yeah, Hydro
Pump.
Pump.
Oh well, yeah, Whirlpool too, I guess.
Yeah, this is literally... Well, his Squirtle never learns Whirlpool.
Does he not?
No. Don's Piplup learns Whirlpool.
But yeah, no, that is pretty much just straight... It's really interesting, too, that they gave Ash's Squirtle, like, the strongest water-type move, at least at the time.
Right, yeah, no, it's...
because Squirtles fucking suck.
I mean, Hydro Pump, I think, is still the strongest water-type move.
Is it? Just, like, pure damage?
Pure damage, yes. It's definitely not the best. Like, there's tons of water moves that are just better than Hydro Pump in a lot of ways. The current meta, and they took this move away in the last game, but they brought it back for Scarlet and Violet, is Scald. Because Scald is like, you know, it's like 80, so it's nothing to snuff at. But also, there's like a 30% chance it burns.
Right.
And burn has got to be like the meanest status effect in the game, because like...
Burn is fucking brutal.
Well, yeah, because like it makes a Pokemon useless if they're a physical attacker.
Right.
Like, they might as well no point in even having them on your fucking... Don't even call them out anymore. They're effectively gone.
Yeah. No, all statuses are pretty good. Obviously, some are better than others.
Right.
Because, like, Paralysis, you know, it's pretty solid. Except for... I don't know what the actual numbers are. Someone would have to run them, and they probably have already, and they probably know what the answer is.
Right.
But at least in, like, general Pokemon gameplay... Getting paralyzed is atrocious.
Yeah. Paralyzing
the enemy Pokemon feels like it barely does anything.
Right.
And maybe that's accurate. Maybe this is how it feels. I don't know. And then, like, sleep. If you get put to sleep, it's like 5 turns every fucking time.
Same with Frozen.
If you put them to sleep, it's like 2 turns every... Or other way around. If you put them to sleep, it's like 5... No, yeah. I was right the first time.
Yeah.
If you get put to sleep, it's like 5 turns every time. If you put them to sleep, it's like 2 turns every time.
Right.
Like... They always get off easier than you do. It feels like. And again, I don't know what the actual numbers are. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Yeah, and with Freeze, that is one good thing. I can't believe that in Gen 1, Freeze was just permanent.
Yeah.
If you didn't have an item to unfreeze, you were just fucked. And granted, yeah, like there was no move that caused it actively. It was just, if you got hit by an ice move, which there were barely any of.
Right.
I think it was like a flat 10% chance.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like, okay, I'm frozen and I have no freeze heals.
Right.
So, I need to switch up my Pokemon because it's knocked out now.
Battle's over.
Like, that's just a little bit ridiculous.
Right.
And I like Poison, it's pretty good. Because, like, just straight damage, that's solid. But usually, with damage, it's either, okay, I need to, like, knock it out in 1 turn, maybe 2 max. Or we're in it for the long fucking haul.
Right.
And if you're in it for the long haul...
Shit.
Burn is just, like, inherently superior.
Right.
It didn't really let you lose your fucking mech and it be way back there.
Okay. Thank God it respawned here. It was way back there, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, there's like one way closer to him.
Thank the Lord. Though that also basically negates the purpose of this entire level.
Yeah.
But it's like, If you could push a button, and one button would guarantee that you poison an enemy Pokemon, one button guarantees you burn an enemy Pokemon. You don't know anything other than that's your two choices.
Right.
Like, are you not going to pick burn every time?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, it depends, because, again, like, it mainly just fucks up, like, physical Pokemon, special Pokemon, it's no big deal. Whereas, like, poison... If it's toxic and it's bad, because there's two different versions of poison. There's poisoned, and then there's badly poisoned, like you get from toxic. Regular poison, it just does like 6% damage, just like burn. But if it's badly poisoned, it doubles every time. So whereas like just regular poison puts them on a timer, toxic puts them on like a fucking countdown.
Right. But with Toxic, you have to, like, specifically pick a particular move.
Right.
And it doesn't, like, weaken the Pokemon. It just, like...
It guarantees they're gonna die.
Right. Which is really good, obviously. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's not. But it's like, even with the fact that Toxic exists, I just don't know if that's enough to say that, like, if I didn't know anything about the Pokemon I was battling... Of course, at the same time, it's like, what if it turns out that the Pokemon you're battling you don't know anything about, it's a special attacker?
Right.
Well, now it's not going to matter that its attack is cut. So maybe you did just want the just flat increasing over time damage of Toxic.
Right.
I don't know. Toxic is really good.
It needs a good team composition. Toxic is really good for, like, stall teams that don't pack a lot of, like, offensive power. They're just meant for... They're there to let Toxic or, like, their hazards just wear you down while they eat hits.
Right. I don't know. Both are very good in their own way. Regular Poison compared to Toxic or Burn, not even in a contest.
Right.
Toxic and Burn... Toxic might be, at least as far as, like, pure, like, utility, probably better than Burn.
Right.
In the instance where it is a physical attacker, which is basically a 50-50 chance. I don't know what the actual numbers are for Pokemon that are better at attack versus special attack, but I feel like the answer should be at least roughly half of each. So, like, there's a 50-50 chance it'll be super good. And a 50-50 chance it'll just be pretty good.
Right.
Sleep is alright, but because they can just wake up whenever, it's just so hard to use.
It's unreliable.
Yeah.
And, like, some of the easiest sleep moves, like, Spore is 100%, but, like, so few things get Spore. Most things are stuck with Sleep Powder, which has 75% accuracy.
Right.
So, basically useless.
And it really sucks, too, that you have to pick moves. I mean, obviously, you don't literally have to. But if you pick moves that don't have 100% accuracy in Pokemon, you're basically just wasting your turn.
Yeah. That's why I don't get into competitive Pokemon, just because I can't. Like, all the Pokemon I like are not competitively viable. The
moves that I like to use... They're fucking garbage.
Right.
The things that I enjoy about Pokemon, they don't exist in competitive Pokemon.
Right.
And I know what that means. It means I'm bad at Pokemon.
Yes, fine.
But I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I can live with that. There's worse things to me.
Yeah. Holy shit! If only he'd left the shock gate closed.
Who could have opened the shock gate?
Doesn't have much air left.
Oh, and he's almost out of air?
Fuck, this is actually important. This is like the first, like, vital mission.
And we're in a fucking mech. Yep. I mean, technically we're in, like, a submarine. But as far as the game is concerned, this is functionally a mech. This is like homing missiles?
Nope.
Oh. I was about to say, damn, that's pretty good. Oh, wait, are they boomerangs?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, our sub-launch is fucking boomerangs! Okay, obviously that's fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah.
But also hilarious.
Oh, yeah. God, also, this mission is cruel as shit, because we're not going to rescue Rex.
We're killing a bunch of sharks. For no reason,
just so he can come up for air.
And I know, like, the sharks are the bad guys or whatever. Sharks are just out there.
Yeah, they just exist, and they do what they do.
Admittedly, that is one thing. I don't know. Have you ever had any moral quandaries over, like, not just, like, killing animals, is like, personally, but, like, animals killing other animals?
Animals killing other animals, no. That's just nature.
That's fair. I don't know. There's never been a point in my life when I've, like, been like, oh yeah, I think I might stop eating meat, right?
Right.
So, like, obviously I've never been, like, that worried about the fact that animals get killed. But, like, there has been times in my life where I'm like, man, you know, is it wrong to kill animals for their meat? Is it wrong, like, for animals to kill other animals for their meat? And obviously now, you know, I'm fucking 30 years old at this point in my life.
Right.
I've had enough time to think on it. It's like, okay, it's like, yeah, there are dedicated carnivores. They're a critical part of, like, any ecosystem.
Yes.
If you get no dedicated carnivores, what you end up with is a lot of herbivores.
Right.
That eat all the shit, and then they fucking are all starving to death.
Right.
Because they just grow without anything to stop them. So, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, you know, oh yeah, carnivores are bad. Like, literally, yeah, it sucks for the animals that get eaten. And, you know, yeah, sometimes it's young animals, sometimes it's sick animals, sometimes it's old animals. And it's sad in its own special way, every time. Because, like, I do legitimately, despite the fact that I accept that it's just kind of a thing that happens, I think that the loss of life, even, like, non-human life, is an unfortunate thing that has to happen.
Right.
But the critical part of that statement is has to happen.
Right.
There's no world where things function properly and also everything is an herbivore so that it's no problem. And also there's the idea that, like, okay, well, like, if it's not okay for animals to eat animals, is it okay for animals to eat plants?
Right.
Dude, I don't know about you, I'm not ready to die on the hill of no one should eat plants.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I have some problems with life. I've been depressed at points in my life. And I've been like, man, I don't know if life is worth living for me personally. I don't think there's ever been a point in my life where I've been like, man, life was a mistake.
Right.
And it never should have existed for anybody. No one should have ever had the option of life, even.
Right.
And that's basically what you're saying if you go all in and like, I know, no one should eat anything.
Right. For sure.
I'm so
But if you had the option to get like a solar implant that replaced food, would you?
No worries.
In this particular theoretical, if you get the solar implant to power yourself, you cannot eat food anymore, even for like leisure.
Okay. Well, I guess my biggest concern would be for the implant would be like, is it gonna like do I have like insurance that it's going to like
It's guaranteed. It's gonna power you just like food would for the rest of your life.
but like it's never gonna like stop working
Nope.
or like I need to upgrade?
Nope, it is perfect. It is so ingeniously designed. As long as you get a little bit of sun every once in a while, you will have the energy you need, like if you had gotten it from food.
Okay.
At least in this theoretical.
Okay, because that's the other like thing. Like, cause like okay, with like Elon Musk and his stupid fucking brain chips. Half the fucking problem with that is all of that shit is going to be outdated within a couple years. And so people are just going to have fucking just scrap in their head. Right.
Well, yeah, that's like the Futurama. Did you ever watch any of the Comedy Central Futurama?
Probably bits and pieces. I couldn't tell you if I watched it.
So I think one of the first episodes that released, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was a little bit further in, but they released the iPhone episodes.
Right.
And of course, those were a little bit outdated.
Sure.
Because between the cancellation before the Comedy Central relaunch and the Comedy Central relaunch, iPhones had already kind of like completely taken over.
Right.
And if not like iPhones, just smartphones in general. So it felt a little bit dated. Like it was a literal iPhone.
Yeah.
They put an implant into your eyeball, and now you've got phone type stuff like what we have now.
Right.
And like, yeah, that's fucking stupid. But like, I think the point still comes across.
Right.
When you get right down to it. So I don't have a big issue with it or anything.
Uh-huh.
But it's like with stuff like that. It's like, okay, so they get the new iPhone implant, the literal iPhone implant.
Uh-huh.
And what happens in 2 years when the new iPhone implant comes out? Like, obviously, they keep updating the old iPhone implant
Right.
for a while.
Right.
But it's like my boss, for his personal phone, he still has like an iPhone 4.
Right.
And iPhone 4s have not been updated in 1,000 years.
Right.
They came through and they're like, yeah, we want this and this and this stuff for our branch managers to do. And his phone is not compatible with a bunch of that stuff.
Right.
And they found that quite a few people's phones weren't because they were too old. So they just said, we're just getting every branch manager in the company a company cell phone.
Right.
And I forget what those are. They're like 8s or 10s or something like that.
Something more advanced.
Right. But it's like, that's fine for phones. You know, like he still has his iPhone 4. Because it's still his personal cell phone. But at some point, he'll probably replace it too.
Right.
Like, but with the iPhone implant, is it that easy? Do you just pull it back out?
Yeah. It's like what do you do?
Do you have to leave it in there? If you get the Elon Musk brain implant and also it doesn't immediately fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like a month later from brain infection or whatever, killed all those monkeys they said they tested it on.
Right.
Like, what happens then when they don't want to upgrade it anymore? Because they're not all going to be... Let's say he put one in your brain. Right. You specifically right now, Sacred.
Okay. Ouch.
It is... Well, yes. But it's fucking amazing. It's an amazing product. It's not going to cause any negative problems. It's just going to be an absolute boon. He's going to be able to fucking beam shit into your brain that you want. You're going to see so many people dying all over the place, just like you beg for when you're asleep. Like, okay, so you got that. What happens when the 2 comes out?
Right.
Like, sure, they're going to update the 1 for a little while. What happens when the 3 comes out? Maybe they're still updating the 1. I doubt it.
Right.
But it's possible. You know, like, iPhones, that 4 that my boss has, it was continuing to receive updates up until, in the grand scheme of things, a not very long ago number of years ago.
Right.
It has now finally stopped receiving updates, or at least as far as he said. It hasn't had an update in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, we're up to what, like the 13s now or something, I think?
Yeah.
Are the newest iPhones?
I think 15 is the new one,
So, like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, so, like, they continued to support it sort of, kind of, for a long time.
Right.
It's like, okay, but what happens when they stop? Even if it is 15. You know, like oh yes, the 15s are the newest one. If they stop supporting the brain implant 1, because they released brain implant 16.
Right.
What do? Do you continue to run with brain implant 1? What if someone hacks your brain implant?
Right.
Does that hack your brain?
Right.
Like, did they just beam whatever they want? Could they beam horrible, hot, naked ladies to you at any moment?
That's the ultimate plan. First, Twitter has pussy in bio, then your brain has pussy in bio.
It's like, yeah, like, who knows what would fucking happen? It's like, okay, so, you know, maybe it goes on for a long time, but it won't be forever.
Right, sure.
It won't be a full lifetime's worth. The brain implant 1 gets updated. And it's like, you know, do they just shut it down? Okay, well, now you don't have the benefits of brain implant anymore.
Right. Now you just have bits in your head.
Right, so do you need to get brain implant 17, the newest one now? Will that just fix it? Does the fact that there's brain implant 1 in there, is it going to mess with anything?
Right, it's like, sorry, you already have brain implant 1. We can't take that out and slide something in. You're going to die if that's removed.
Right.
Yeah, because that's another thing. You're wiring something into your brain, so that can't, like, come out, right? Like, that's just part of your brain now.
Right, well, especially because your brain, theoretically, if they work as what... And obviously, I don't know the inner working details of the fucking whatever they're called, brain link things. Maybe they make way more sense than it sounds like they make based on my layman's knowledge of what they're supposed to be.
Right.
But if you get the link and it does super duper cool stuff. Whatever stuff it's supposed to do, which I'm still unclear on that part too.
Yeah, like
I'm really not sure what exactly it's supposed to do for you. But let's say it does it all perfectly. You know, you need some math problems, it's fucking got you covered.
Right.
You want to fucking Google some boobies, it fucking boom, they're in your brain now.
Right.
Like, okay, that's fine. But like, at a certain point, your brain is just going to adapt to it.
Right.
Your brain, like, when you use stuff, it makes really good, strong, solid connections. When you don't use stuff, those connections start to falter.
Yes.
So if you're connecting to this brain link thing all the time, presumably, your brain should actively be connecting to it.
Right.
It should launch all these connections to it. And if you got a bunch of brain links, your brain is using all this process power on the fucking the brain implant number 1. Even if you can remove it afterwards, what then happens to you?
Right. Well,
like, all those brain connections, it's like, is it like you just cut a piece of your brain out?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't sound like a good idea at all. Is it like, is it not that big a deal? Is your brain just like, okay, those connections are just deactivated? Okay, well now I spent years building these connections that are no longer valid.
Yeah.
What happens when my brain tries to connect to them again? Do I just get like fucking 404 error, fucking page not found?
Yeah, no, I don't know. We'll have to see. Enough idiots are getting them now. We'll have to see.
Here's the thing. I was going to say I will never ever get a brain link. You know, I'm not made of stone. If at some point in my lifetime brain links are so fucking good and so fucking common that everyone is like, oh yeah, if you don't have a brain link,
what are you
fucking
doing?
Stupid.
Not bad.
I would be tempted to get a brain link.
I don't think
Not because of, like, peer pressure, but just because of, like, I don't want to miss out on an incredibly good thing, but it's going to need to be proven.
Yeah.
I'm going to need people that got it, that it works fucking amazing for, that think it's amazing, and not because they've been, like, fucking brainwashed by the brain link to think it's amazing. Ideally, because it actually is. They're going to need some, like, legitimate statement saying this is why it's good, and I'm gonna need proof that when the new brain link comes out, they stop supporting the old brain link. Then my brain is just like, yeah.
I'm gonna need a little more than the promise of pussy in brain.
Hell yeah! I don't know, man. That's a pretty good argument, though. Fucking pussy beams straight to your brain at any moment you want it.
Yeah, I already
it's not
have
like I had
that.
the
It's
internet.
called porn.
No, bro, that you gotta get out of bed, go all the way to the computer, or just pull out your phone. But then you gotta type in Pornhub.com.
I don't even need to type it in. I can have fucking voice search.
It's gonna be a really uphill climb, is what we're saying.
And we'll continue to climb
next time.
Don't get me on.
Whatever he said.